Welcome to Signal Post Daily, your human-curated AI-delivered tech and AI news briefing, episode 20, for Wednesday, November 12th, 2025.
All right, John, what's on the agenda today?
Jess, it's a Google day. They've got announcements across Pixel phones and Google Photos with a bunch of new AI features that really signal where they're headed. We're also looking at Samsung's trifold phone coming into focus with some major hardware ambitions, Meta losing one of their top AI researchers at a critical moment, and some interesting capital moves with SoftBank liquidating positions to fund Project Stargate with OpenAI.
Okay, a lot to unpack here. Should we be worried that they're putting AI everywhere?
That's the question everyone's asking right now. Let's start with the Pixel feature drop because there's something actually important here. Google's introduced something called private AI compute.
Wait, what does private AI compute actually mean?
It's basically encrypted AI processing that runs on Google's cloud servers. So you get the power of their language models, but Google says they can't see your data while it's being processed. It's their answer to what Apple's been doing with their ChatGPT integration.
Okay, but here's what bugs me about this. If it's cloud-based, how do we actually verify they're not looking at our stuff? Apple's partnership with OpenAI literally uses an open-sourced package called Swift Homomorphic Encryption, so anyone can view the source code. John, Google runs ads. They've got incentive to look.
That's fair pushback. Apple released the actual Swift homomorphic encryption source code under Apache 2.0 license. Google is taking a different approach. They're using open source components like Project Oak, but keeping their specific private AI compute implementation proprietary, relying instead on binary ledgers and third-party audits to prove what's running. That's the fundamental tension here with all privacy promises.
So it's more trust-based for Google? That doesn't feel like enough in 2025, given everything we know about data collection and corporate incentives.
I get your skepticism completely. You're absolutely right that verifying privacy from the outside is basically impossible without independent audits. But at least Google's making it a selling point now, which they weren't doing a year ago. That's a significant shift in positioning.
Fair point. What else is in this Pixel update?
They've added notification summaries for chat threads, so instead of getting 50 individual messages that bury you, you get one clean, digestible summary of what was discussed. They also included a power-saving mode specifically designed for maps, which is huge if you're on a long road trip.
Hold on, Maps has a power-saving mode now? That actually sounds useful because Maps absolutely destroys my battery.
Exactly. That's addressing a real pain point that everyone's been frustrated with for years. Now let's shift to Google Photos because that's where it gets genuinely interesting.
All right, what are they doing with Photos?
Google's rolling out several features, including Nano Banana on phones, their newer image generation model that can generate images both on-device and in the cloud now. They've also launched a Help Me Edit feature that works conversationally, and here's the kicker. It's available on iOS as well, not just Android.
Wait, they're letting iPhone users generate images in Google Photos? That's a really strategic move to break into the Apple ecosystem.
Exactly what I thought. They're trying to own the photo experience across both platforms, not just hoarding features for Android. You can literally ask Google Photos to edit your images for you conversationally, like make this darker, or enhance the background, or fix the lighting.
But here's what bugs me about all of this. Google's already processing all our photos with their AI algorithms, and now they want us talking to them about exactly what we want edited or what we're looking for?
You're hitting on something real and genuinely important. Each feature adds another meaningful layer of data about your visual preferences and editing habits and search behavior. It's incredibly convenient, but it comes with real data collection costs.
So it's convenience versus privacy. That's the core tension. What else did they announce for Photos?
They've enhanced the Ask Photos search function so you can ask conversational questions instead of using traditional keywords. Show me photos from my trip to Arizona, or find pictures where I'm wearing red, or give me all sunset photos instead of manually typing out search terms.
Okay, enough Google domination. Samsung's making a trifold phone now?
Yeah, their first trifold smartphone is coming, potentially called the Galaxy Z trifold. It's got dual hinges, so it can fold in multiple different configurations, and when fully unfolded, you're looking at almost tablet-sized screen real estate. Basically an iPad that fits in your pocket.
They've only done dual-fold phones so far, right?
Right, this would be their first trifold device. Their dual-fold phones are part of the Z Fold line, but trifold is completely new territory for them.
What's the price going to be on this thing because foldables aren't cheap? Or even affordable?
Based on their current foldable lineup and market positioning, we're probably looking at somewhere between $2,000 and $2,500 for the trifold. That's expensive, especially for first-generation hardware that hasn't been tested in the real world yet.
Oof, I could buy several iPads for that much. Do we have any idea when it's actually launching?
Regulatory certifications are showing up, which signals it's coming soon, probably early next year. But the big question hanging over this whole thing is durability.
Right? More hinges means more things that can break. Yeah?
Exactly. Samsung's been solid with their hinge engineering on the Z Fold line, but trifold is completely untested territory for anyone. We won't know if they've really solved the durability problem until it's in people's hands and they've been using it for months.
Okay, let's talk about Yann LeCun leaving Meta. That seems like a big deal.
It's more significant than headlines are treating it. LeCun won a Turing Award, essentially the Nobel Prize of Computing, for his groundbreaking and foundational work on deep learning and convolutional neural networks. He's literally one of the fathers of modern AI. He's been Meta's chief AI scientist, and now he's leaving to start his own independent company.
Wait, didn't Mark Zuckerberg just dump billions into AI hiring this summer?
He did, which is why this looks particularly bad for Meta. You make this huge public push and commit billions to AI dominance, and then one of your top researchers and thought leaders heads for the exit.
Does this actually signal trouble for Meta's AI initiatives?
It raises real questions. LeCun's focused on world models, essentially AI systems that understand how the physical world actually works and can simulate it, which is different from the large language model focus Meta's currently pursuing. So maybe this is just him pursuing a genuinely different vision rather than abandoning ship in frustration.
Or maybe he's frustrated with Meta's direction?
That's possible too. Either way, losing institutional knowledge and momentum from someone at LeCun's level doesn't help Meta catch up to OpenAI and Google, who are already way ahead in the AI race.
Final story. SoftBank's selling billions in Nvidia stock. Is the AI bubble bursting?
Everyone's panicking and wondering if we're at the top of the AI investment bubble, but the real story is actually different from what the doomsday headlines suggest. SoftBank sold about $15 billion in Nvidia and T-Mobile stock. And the reason is their commitment to Project Stargate with OpenAI.
So they're not dumping AI because they think it's overvalued?
Not at all. They're liquidating these positions because they committed significant capital to funding Project Stargate, which is a massive data center infrastructure project announced at the White House earlier this year. They need cash to actually deliver on that multi-billion-dollar promise they made to the government and to OpenAI.
So this is actually a vote of confidence in AI infrastructure, not a panic sell?
Exactly. They're betting that infrastructure, whoever controls the massive, cutting-edge compute farms necessary for training next-generation models, is where the real value gets captured in AI, not necessarily with the chip companies themselves, even Nvidia.
That's actually an interesting strategic shift happening. It sounds like they're saying the servers and infrastructure matter more than the chips themselves.
Right. It's a meaningful reallocation of capital and bets within the AI thesis overall. They're still bullish on AI and AI's future. They're just choosing to bet on the infrastructure play, the picks and shovels strategy rather than the gold miners.
So what's the big takeaway from all of this today?
I think the pattern is clear. We're seeing AI mature from speculative technology into actual consumer products and serious enterprise infrastructure plays. Google's embedding it in everything across their ecosystem. Samsung's betting on new form factors. Meta's struggling to keep top talent in a competitive market. And investors are shifting capital toward infrastructure instead of just betting on chip companies.
That's interesting because it means the winners won't necessarily be obvious, right? It's not just about who builds the best model anymore. Success depends on lots of different factors.
Exactly. The companies that control the compute infrastructure and the consumer experience might end up mattering more than we think in 5 or 10 years. These are the strategic bets being made right now by all the major players.
I'm genuinely curious to see how this all plays out over the next year. There are a lot of moving pieces here, and it's not clear how they'll settle.
Absolutely. And that's why if you're tracking this carefully and trying to understand where the tech industry is headed, watch these 3 specific areas. Whether Google's privacy implementations actually hold up under independent scrutiny, whether Samsung delivers on durability and functionality with their trifold, and whether infrastructure really becomes the critical bottleneck in AI development going forward.
Good framework. All right, John. If you want to weigh in on any of this, whether it's Google's privacy claims or Samsung's trifold durability, or whether infrastructure really is the winning play, Send your thoughts to feedback at signalpostdaily.com.
We genuinely read everything you send us, and your perspective really shapes how we think about and talk about these stories every day. So please reach out with your questions and your pushback.
Thank you, friends, for joining us on Signal Post Daily. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that actually matter.
Stay curious, stay skeptical, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.